People, I'm here with the man, the legend, Leo Muhammad. So, quick question to you, brother. For someone, we're seeing a lot of murders, but they're becoming more obvious. So, what's your advice to us young people out there? When I say young, I'm talking those below 30. What's your immediate advice to us?
Well, I mean, you know, brother, if you're talking about black people killing black people, these shootings and stabbing and stuff that's going on, I mean, young people, they need to appreciate, brother, that first and foremost, we're family. Every time you kill another black man, every time you hurt a sister, you're hurting yourself. We're destroying our own potential future. And we got to understand that these guns, I know some of them are replicas that we bought out, we kind of made them work in a particular way, but in reality, when we get the real guns, when we get the MAC-10s and these other instruments into the black community, you need to ask yourself, who's bringing these things in? Who's feeding us these things in order for us to kill one another? We're not killing anybody other than our own selves. And so my advice to young people would be, come on, man, bring the love. You understand what I'm saying? Believe me, there's nothing more powerful than black men and black women, as for young people embracing one another, walking together. If you want to see a posse, if you want to see a crew, if you want to see black power, come on, man. Black man got to start moving together. When you see another brother down the road, that's your brother, man. You hail him. You don't shoot him. You don't stab him. You don't bust him up over postcodes where you live and his ends and your ends. That's some lame stuff, man. And that's playing right into the hands of the enemy who hates all of us.
Yes, thank you, brother. Thank you. So, people see what happens in America, and recently I've noticed on social media it's happening in England now. So the bad treatment, the inhumane treatment that's been happening to our people. So I've seen this, and I've spoken to a couple of my brethren, and some of us have thought violence would get their attention, or as well as say the boycott. What's your advice on, say, violence? Is that wrong or is that right in respect to the treatment that they've been giving us?
You know, brother, the reality is this. When you are a victim of state violence, and most of us as black people, that's what we've experienced all our lives. They're killing us in police custody, we never get any justice. There's never a prosecution. The same thing that's happening here in the UK is happening in the United States, where the police and other so-called authorities are killing us wholesale, and there is no justice. Brother, we are perfectly entitled, under such oppression, to fight back. You understand? In the book that I read in the Holy Quran, it says that oppression is worse than slaughter, and that we are given a prescription to retaliate. We have to fight back. If somebody's going to kill you unjustly, then you have every right to defend yourself. And if in defending yourself you take the life of the one who's trying to kill you, then so be it. But what we don't do, we don't advocate our young people going out now and taking violence as the means to go and attack innocent people or people who haven't been the ones who have actually perpetrated the violence against us. We advocate dealing violence to the violent people. But we don't advocate our people just wholesale going out there now looking for some policeman or looking for some white man. We don't deal with that. We deal with the perpetrator. And if the perpetrator kills us and there is no justice in that, they don't punish the perpetrator, then look, man, one of these days we're gonna go and look for the perpetrator. We take it into our own hands, because that's justice. So that's what I would say to young people. Don't be going out there thinking that violence is a solution, because it's not necessarily so. And I would say to young people, understand that even if you got a shotgun at home, some sawn off, or you got a MAC-10, or you got a 38, or you got some other weapon, it's a dinky toy compared to what the enemy has. He's the maker of the gun, okay? And he's got helicopter gunships that not just cut people in half, cut buildings in half. So don't think that we're gonna take our little pop guns and go and fight against him and defeat him. We got a bigger weapon than all of that, and that weapon is our unity. When we come together, brother, and he knows that we love one another as black people, he will back up off of us, because he's a big bully. And he only attacks us because we are individuals, walking as individuals, behaving and acting as individuals in these little small crews. But we got to come together as a collective. That's the big weapon that we got. We come together in our unity.
Thank you, brother. Listen, this is Leo Muhammad. This is the man, the legend, the man, the legend.
Way to achieve reparations. And again, it's something that we really to understand as black people, because again, the problem is that most of us think of reparations as a check from the government, from the white man. He's going to give us some money. And in reality, if he was to give us a check tomorrow, the chances are by the next day we'd have given him back that check, because we're going to go and spend all the money with him anyway. Because according to statistics, in America, where there's nearly 50 million of us, we've got a black president, the dollar stays in the black community approximately 6 hours. The dollar stays in the Jewish community 29 days. And in other communities, 10, 15, 20 days. It stays in our community 6 hours. Not to mention the pound in the black community, in a community where we're only about 1.5 million. We are a very small group of people. So reparations is not about getting a check, but reparations is about me looking at you as a black man, looking at my sister as a black woman, recognizing that's my sister, not in words, but in deed. Recognizing that's my brother, realizing that if we all come together, unite, we become powerful. We can start to address some of the ills, some of the problems that ill affect us as a people, because we've got issues, we've got problems. We've got to repair those issues and those problems within self. When we make those repairs for ourselves, then we can actually collectively get some collective bargaining power through our unity. We can go to the white man and we can make demands on him. For instance, the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he's been banned from this country since 1986. The only reason the ban remains is because we as black people, we're so weak that we can't force this demon to lift the ban on a good man, a man who's never been arrested for speeding, much less. This is a good man, a man who changed my life, made me put down the gun, made me put down cocaine, made me stop abusing black women and abusing women, period. You understand what I'm saying? Made me a man to take responsibility for my children. And so, the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan remains banned because black people, we refuse to come together, brother. We have fallen for this hype that the way forward in the 21st century is to integrate into somebody else's reality while disintegrating among ourselves. And we're the only people on the planet who do that. You can't go to Chinatown, anywhere up and down this country, and tell the Chinese, why don't you all integrate? Why have you got Chinatown? The Chinese would laugh you out of Chinatown. You can't go to Asian people and ask them, why are you all together? Why have you got all these shops? And you're doing business among yourself, and you're collectively saving money, sending it back to Asia. They would laugh at you, man. We're the only people, black people, who don't think it's important to have our own. We've got to have a place that we can call our own. We've got to own a street. It starts with just one street, where when you walk down there, it's just blackness, but not blackness in some kind of ghetto, violent blackness, beautiful. We've got school for our children. You understand what I'm saying? We've got supermarkets. We've got black men walking the streets, patrolling in terms of literally policing our own communities. That's the mentality that we need, and that is how we become repaired. That's how we start this process of reparation. Let me tell you something. The enemy knows the day we come together, and that's why he works 24 hours, 7 days a week to keep us divided, because he knows the day we come together, brother, it's all over for him. And this is what you got to understand about black unity. It is the most powerful force in the universe, and that's why they keep us divided and ruled.
Let's talk about versions of how we we have to be earlier on is
what I was talking about earlier on is I was explaining how we have to be a people who understand language. The English language is one of the trickiest languages in the world. It is a language of deception. They use it to deceive the masses of the people. The Englishman, of all the Europeans, is the smartest of all the Europeans. So says the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. This man uses language in such a way that if you're not careful, he will have you afraid of mere words. understanding the true meaning. You'd be surprised the amount of black people who find themselves in court, in the Crown Court, in the dock, charged with an offence. And when they hear the judge say, let's have a look at his antecedents, and they don't know what the word antecedents means. He wants to look at your history. He wants to look at your past record to see what kind of sentence he's going to bestow on you on this particular day. We've got to understand today that they have us running away from words. They use words like, oh, the Nation of Islam, we believe in segregation. No, we don't. We don't believe in segregation. Segregation implies somebody has power to confine somebody in some ghetto somewhere, taking away their rights as a human being. We don't believe in that. We believe in freedom, justice, equality, regardless of creed or class or color. In other words, we want that for white people too. But what we believe in is separation. There's a big difference between separation and segregation. If a man is abusing his wife, and every weekend he beats the hell out of her, and on Monday morning all her friends see her with a black eye wearing dark glasses, and they say to her, you need to leave that man. She says, oh, but I love him, he only beats me on weekends. Eventually that man is going to kill that woman unless she gets wise and leaves that man. Well, that's what black people are saying. We are tired of being abused by this beast, and we say, look, let's separate. Now when that husband and wife separate, please brother, the smoke in my face. When that husband and wife separates, she doesn't go off in some ghetto, he doesn't go off in some ghetto. She may keep the house, he moves into a flat. He may keep the house, she may move into a flat. But they're separate, but they're equal. That's what we believe in. We believe that we should be separated as black people to do something for ourselves. And they should live and do what they want to do for themselves. But we don't want to be imposed upon by white people as if we are still their slaves or still their children. We've got to understand that they use language to deceive us. They use language like, oh, fundamentalists. So now I'm a Muslim. You got many Muslims now running when they hear the word fundamentalist because it's scary. Oh, they're fundamentalists. Let me tell you something. The word fundamental means the very foundation of what you... So if you're not fundamental, then you are a damn fool. You're not standing on nothing. So you don't run away from fundamental. You embrace fundamental, but they use language to scare the people. And they're very clever. So you and I, we've got to master language. And we've got to humble ourselves as black people. Because some of us are too arrogant in a little knowledge. We learn a little thing and we think we know everything. I'm a Jamaican. And Jamaicans will tell you, boy, I know that already. No, you don't. I'm studying every day because I don't know enough. What scares me the most is how little I know. Yet I'm out there trying to teach people the little I know. Do you follow? So all of us have got to be humble enough to go back to school. Not in a classroom, but lifelong learning to study so that first we got to know self. You'd be surprised how many of us every day, we do things and then we say, man, why did I do that? That's a demonstration of a lack of knowledge of self. As I'm talking to you, a swear word is not going to slip out of my mouth. Every word I'm saying to you is weighed and measured. It's very precise and accurate. We've got to become like that as a people. We've got to stop this. First thing coming to our head, we say it. Think, we're taught in the Nation of Islam, think 5 times before you speak, and you may be correct. Take your time. Go back to school. Study your subject matter so that when you stand up, you are firm in what it is that you are talking about, what you believe. That's what we encourage our people to do. This is all about reparations because we have to self-repair ourselves. Yeah.